Messieurs, bonjour. Alireza, vous êtes ici aujourd'hui au festival pour présenter votre premier long métrage au pays de nos frères, accompagné de vos producteurs. It's very nice to meet you and to see you in Saint-Jean-de-luz to present your first film in the what's the English title?
In the Land of Brothers.
In the Land of Brothers, donc au pays de nos frères. Nous allons tout de suite en parler en anglais et en français et nous ferons un sous-titrage par la suite. Mais pour l'instant, what brought you to cinema? Why did you want it to be a director?
Very good question. First of all, thanks for having me. It's a very beautiful city and I enjoyed the festival. I always wanted to make impact, and I think storytelling is a very good way to make impact. I wanted to be a lawyer first, and I wanted to be a politician. And then somehow I noticed that by the power of storytelling, I can kind of make the impact that I want. So I started to go to film school, and then I started to make short films, and this is the first feature now.
Most of the Iranian films that we see in France usually are, about how to survive in the Iranian society, and most of them are how to survive when you're a woman in the Iranian society. It's an important question, but you choose another subject. It's the subject of the Afghan refugees living in Iran. Why did you choose that subject?
So with Afghan refugees, I think, first of all, we have a very same culture. We speak the same language. Like a lot of my favorite poets are Afghan, from Afghanistan, for example. But their stories are unheard. Nobody talks about their situation. I think they're marginalized. And I think if you want to have a more fair society, you need to look at the weakest part of the society, which, in our point of view, it is the Afghan refugees in Iran right now. So it was very important for us to let their stories to be heard.
How did your story came to them, and why they produce you?
So we met with Ali in Germany. We made 2 short films together at the Film Academy in Ludwigsburg. And then he went back to Iran. I came back to Paris, and Ra and him had this short film project called Eclipse that they were shooting in Tehran, and we found some funding in France. And so that was our first co-production. The film did very well. We had, I think, 50 or 60 festivals. And then in, I think, May 2020, they came to me with this project saying the short film went well. We should do this film together. And so we started working on development, and we went very fast because we started funding almost right away. The script was very ready at an early stage. So the big story blocks were already all there, which was very impressive because you can have years and years of development, and that went very fast.
True.
And yes, that's how it started.
And I forgot to ask, how did you met with your co-director, Ra?
We studied in the same film school, Art University of Tehran. I think Raha was 3 years behind me, or after me. She came in the film school 3 years after me.
Okay.
Yes, and we started to collaborate in different positions. Like I acted in one of her short films, and she acted in one of my short films, like set designer, costume designer, sometimes sound assistant director. And then we did this solar eclipse, the short project. And when we noticed that, I think we're a very good match, and we started to work on this feature film together, which was very successful for our collaboration.
I'm always intrigued by the way co-directors are working. Like how do they split? the work, or is there one behind the camera, one with the actors? So how you guys are working?
So first of all, we did a very long pre-production, and it was COVID time, and it was like curfew everywhere, and we had this Google Docs attached to our laptops, working remotely, and then we started to make a visual CV, gathering a lot of pictures, watching a lot of films. So I think you kind of understand each other. We started to understand each other during this pre-production. But as you said, with the thing you mentioned, we started to like talk about I'm gonna lead the actors, you're gonna lead the cinematographer, but the important thing was like we shot the film in 3 different seasons in 5 different cities. And I remember sometimes we changed our position, like Raha gonna lead the cinematographer, talk to cinematographer, now I'm gonna lead the actors, and like that. So it's also as a workshop to develop as a director together.
So just by saying that you shot the film in 3 different seasons, during 3 different seasons, in 5 different locations, give us a hint about the construction of the film, because it's actually 4 stories of people from the same group telling over 20 years the stories of Afghan refugees. It's I mean, the concept of that is mind-blowing and it's beautiful. So how did you came with that, how did you find that concept with Raha?
It's a very interesting question. First of all, we first decided to make the story of the Layla. It's one of the characters of the film. And then we started to research, watching documentaries about Afghan refugees in Iran, reading books about them, and we noticed that the situation was like that even before Iranian Revolution. So for many, many long years, it was first Soviet Union invasion, then it was Mujahideen, then Taliban took power, and then the American invasion, and then the Taliban come back, and now Taliban is ruling the country. So it was very many different ways of refugees coming to Iran, but the situation never changed. We have Afghans who were born and raised in Iran. They do not have Iranian nationality. They need to extend their residence permit every year. And first it was like, we need to tell the story to show that this spiral is not gonna finish, and it's a Kafka situation that it seems there's no solution for that, and why? So it was a big question, and I think for asking this question, you need to show the story. So it was the reason that we tried to test this chapter-esque structure in our script.
When a couple of young directors come to producers and say, "Oh, we have this idea. It's going to be, we're going to tell the story of 20 years of Afghan refugees, and during 3 different seasons and in 5 different cities." You guys were like, "Well, okay," or were you afraid?
C'est intéressant parce que il mentionne que en fait, le projet à la base, c'était un film sur Layla. Et je pense qu'il y a beaucoup cette notion de... Quand on voit une seule histoire de quelqu'un qui souffre, on a tendance à penser que c'est un cas particulier. Et le film, en nous montrant plusieurs situations différentes qui ont les mêmes causes et les mêmes sources, mais qui prennent des formes différentes à des moments différents, donc à travers le temps, géographiquement espacés, sur des personnes qui sont très différentes parce qu'ils n'ont pas le même âge, ils ne sont pas dans les mêmes situations familiales. Je pense que ça vient renforcer ce sentiment de phénomène généralisé et pas c'est un cas particulier, c'est juste quelqu'un qui n'a pas eu de chance. Et je pense que ça contribue vraiment à... Enfin, en tout cas, au stade du scénario déjà, on sentait cette chose-là et cette idée-là. Et ensuite, c'est vrai que la saisonnalité, ça complique forcément les tournages des films parce que le début du film est en plein hiver, sous la neige. La fin du film est en plein été à Téhéran, donc c'est des endroits qui sont très différents, pas au même moment. Et à la fois, je pense que ça nous a peut-être aidé à faire ce film d'une certaine manière, parce que c'était des morceaux de tournage qui étaient moins longs et, et qui du coup étaient peut-être plus abordables qu'un tournage qui aurait fait en un seul bloc 40 ou 50 jours pour un film comme ça.
Et juste pour compléter, une des difficultés, et ce qui nous a fait peur aussi au départ, mais ça faisait partie du film, et c'était très important pour Alireza et pour Raha, c'était qu'il fallait tourner en Iran, parce que nos comédiens, par ailleurs, sont des acteurs non professionnels Hazara. Et c'est vrai que dans le process d'écriture, c'était très important pour eux. Enfin, ils étaient déjà aussi impliqués à l'écriture, donc pour vraiment avoir un film pur dans ce qu'ils racontent. Et en fait, les Hazaras, ils n'ont pas de passeport, ils sont apatrides et ils ne peuvent pas quitter l'Iran. Donc, dans tous les cas, imaginer tourner ailleurs n'aurait pas été possible. Et du coup, c'était un tournage en plusieurs petites parties courtes qui n'étaient pas de tout repos. Voilà.
What I loved about the movie, I mean, it's brilliantly directed. The actors are like really beautiful. The ending crushed my heart. But there's something really important about the movie. It's you depicting the situation of those refugees, Afghan refugees in Iran. But the situations you're showing, I guess, are just the same everywhere around the world when you're a refugee. I mean, the tension, the fear of being sent back, it's all over the movie. And this fear, I think it's universal. So when you finish the movie, when you saw it, the movie, is there a moment when you look at the movie saying, oh, not only it's this story, but it's a story of everyone around the world living the same situation?
Yes, that's true. I think the governments around the world copying each other on that matter. And it's interesting because when we were writing the script, we were talking about, because Raha wanted to go to New York to study cinema. And I kind of felt that I'm not going to get back to my country for like couple of years. So we both going to have this immigrant status for ourselves. And that made us much, much more curious about the whole situation. So we also started to read about other countries and how the refugees situation is in those countries. It's still with me, even after, like, I'm here in Paris. I'm living in Paris for 2 years now, but it's still with me. I'm still thinking about this. 1 month ago, I went to Calais to work with the refugees in Calais, with the social group. I witnessed the same thing. I don't know how we can fix it. I think we should make stories as much as possible. We need to make discussions. We need to, because I think the main problem is nobody cares. Like, the people who have power, they do not care. In Iran, they say that we have a lot of other difficulties and problems that we need to solve first. And I think if we look at the world like this, that situation never, we cannot find a solution for that. And I think storytelling would help us a lot on that matter.
There's a question that comes back every time, an Iranian director is showing his film in France. It's the same, always the same question is, have you shown the film in Iran?
No, I think you're not able to do it now. You need to have a permission for showing the film. It's a showing permission, and you need to have this permission from the Iranian government. I don't think it's possible right now to do it, except if you want to censor like half of the film, which is impossible. But during these years, technology helps us a lot because we have a lot of platforms. And when you say this film is not going to be on the screen in Iran, most of Iranians want to watch the film. So I'm sure that we're going to find a solution, and I think a lot of Iranians gonna watch the film.
Well, I'm happy we are showing the film on a big screen in Saint-Jean-de-Luz. Thank you very much for coming to present au pays de nos frères. Merci à vous de l'avoir produit, ce film magnifique distribué par JHR. Merci infiniment et longue vie à votre film. Et puis on attend déjà la suite. We're already waiting for the second film. Okay? So
Sure.
you will come back.
Thanks
Merci.
a lot.
Merci.
Merci.